So before opening the newest addition to our collection, we'll go over a little bit of brand history for those of you who aren't familiar with Escepcion. And a lot of people aren't, because it's really a brought back from the dead cigar, and there is only one vitola available at the time. It is the regional edition Italy, Los Selectos Finos, which is basically a Lancero shape, 38 ring gauge. Anyway, great cigar, fantastic cigar. I've smoked quite a few. They're unbelievable, and I have one in my humidor right now, but we'll get to that later. This brand was associated with Hoyo De Monterrey, basically like a sub-brand of Hoyo De Monterrey. And believe it or not, if you're not Spanish, you may not know, but the spelling is wrong. It's supposed to mean the exception, like the exception to the rule, stuff like that. And it is supposed to be spelled in Spanish with an X. But it was spelt wrong, and probably, as one guy online puts it, one of the most well-known, popular misspellings ever in Habanos cigar brand history, as they just kept the name the way it was. They never changed the spelling of it. I guess people got too familiar with it before they could manage to change it. Anyway, this brand was favored for its intense flavor and superb power, or maybe superb flavor and intense power. However you want to say it, the cigar was very strong with a lot of flavor. Personally, this is the type of cigar I'm always looking for. I released, or I am going to release, I don't think I recorded them and edited them. I don't know if I put them up yet, but I did I was smoking a cigar at 3 a.m. and I decided to throw on the camera, and I did a little quick review on a Pt2 short. A favorite cigar of mine to carry around, a knock-around cigar when I want a little Cuban with a good amount of kick. It's a powerful little cigar. And I mentioned in that video that, I'm on an eternal quest to find a cigar with flavor like the La Gloria Cubana Taino and power like the Punch, like the Pt2 short, or Punch cigar, maybe a Bolivar, something like that. But, that's my Excalibur. These cigars, when they came out, I was in heaven. Couldn't get enough of them. They're really strong, and they have an amazing amount of flavor. They're great cigars. So, at least I'm getting a cigar that I really like, which may not be a good thing. The jar could be empty in a week. However, even though the jar is as rare as it is, it can be refilled, as of now anyway. There are still boxes of La Escepcion available. In fact, there are boxes of it available on Cigar One. I think the price is $560, something like that. 567, if I remember correctly. So that's that. La Escepcion was never affected. It didn't die out like most other brands because of the revolution. It was around till almost 1990. The brand finally collapsed in 1989 and was removed. It had about 8 or 9 vitolas and was successful up till then. There was a steep, sharp decline in cigar production and cigar overall desire for cigars, supply and demand. Anyway, they killed the brand in 1989. And now in 2014, actually it was in 2012 when they brought it back. I think another reason they brought it back was that there's two things. Number one, just prior to that, they did a La Flor de Cano. That was really, to me, the first. They were still making machine-made cigars, I believe. I think. Or at least you could get them at certain sites. I don't know if they were in production. But they weren't making hand-rolled cigars, and there were no hand-rolled cigars available. So they came out with the La Flor de Cano Short Robusto, UK Regional. Unbelievable little smoke. Unbelievable. Another one. Good power, good strength, good body, great flavor. Very well balanced for a short little cigar. And I love those. Wish I could get a box of those. They're expensive at like $500-600 a box. Maybe less if you find the right site. But that was, to me, the first resurrected brand. Then, I guess maybe either they had it in the works already, or because La Flor de Cano did so well, they decided to bring back La Escepcion. Now, I love when they bring back these dead bands, because I'm a collector as well as a smoker. And on both sides, I like it for two reasons. There are only 27 Cuban cigar brands. 27 is a magic number, you know, depending on whether you count certain things as an actual brand. The problem with that is, unlike, you know, domestic cigars where you have literally hundreds and thousands of different cigar brands, you never run out of things to try. After a while of smoking Cuban cigars, well, from year to year they change, and while you can always start trying every vitola that exists, you know, you start to get a little, not bored, I don't want to say bored, but you wish there was something really brand spanking new that you could try, and new brands really just don't come out. Even the new stuff that comes out is you know, brands that they remake. But for me, it's really exciting as a smoker because it's something new to try, and as a collector, even more so, because the type of things that come out with these resurrected brands are really collectible items. This is going to be, it won't be the crown jewel. To me, the La Gloria Cubana Deliciosos Regional Edition Cuba will always be the crown jewel of my jar collection. It will always be the crown jewel because it is the first and was the only for a long time Cuban regional edition, and that right there says it all. On top of that, it's a beautiful jar, and on top of that, it's my favorite brand. So this to me would have been the crown jewel, but it'll be way high up there. Before we open it, and and I know everybody's going, open the fucking box already. You know what? That's what the fast forward button's for. But if you want to, you know, garner a little more education or possibly learn where you can get one of these, let's head on over to the internet and take a quick browse. Okay, so here we are over by the web, and we're going to look at a few things regarding the Escepcion Selectos Finos jar. The first I heard of this jar was on this site here, stevegriff.com. I was looking for new jar releases, and this popped up, and I was like, well, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, holy shit. And as I read it, I became more and more skeptical of the chances of actually getting one. Anyway, one of the success stories of the regional edition series of Cuban cigars in the past few years, the 2011 Italian regional edition La Escepcion Selectos Finos, has been re-released in a limited edition run of 200 individually numbered porcelain jars. It's not really re-released, and I'll explain that in a second. The online Italian website, if you can pronounce it, whatever, report that each porcelain jar has the capacity to hold 30 cigars. Yep, you've read it right. The jar you'll purchase will be empty. Interestingly, the website mentions that each jar can be purchased for as little as 100 euros, as long as you purchase 2 boxes of the original 2011 regional edition. Okay, so in the beginning, you would have had to buy 2 boxes of the cigars, and then you have a chance to opt for an extra 100 euros to opt for getting the jar as well. So this is different than a lot of the other jar releases in the fact that, you know, it's not already full. It's not, you know, a box like, say, La Gloria Cubana Regional Edition where it's a one-shot package. It's an empty jar that they made to go along with this already released regional edition. It's not re-released. It's not a re-released regional edition. It even says right here 2 boxes of the original 2011 regional edition La Escepcion. So in total, the trio retails for the price of 2 boxes and then the price of the jar. So basically, you can fill up the jar with 30 of the Selectos Finos you've bought and then smoke the rest. I like that personally because I like being able to have cigars, extra cigars to smoke, so I don't have to break into my jar and I can keep my jar full. I also like the fact, regardless, even if you don't have the extra cigars, you can refill the jar like Romeo Short Churchills or something like that, those jars, but only for now, because eventually, being a limited release, they will run out of these things. So I would love to get a few extra. Some eagle-eyed people have noticed that the jar itself, whilst says 30 Selectos Finos, the outer cardboard packaging states 25 Selectos Finos. I did know about that, and that's an interesting thing. Yeah, you can see right here, 25 Selectos Finos. Yet another, it's funny, you know what's funny? This brand seems to be plagued with, since its inception, errors. First, the spelling error, which is originally from when they created it way back, and then now you have this numerical error on this jar. But yeah, the jar holds 30 cigars, and the jar says 30 cigars, but the outer carton says 25. When La Escepcion Selectos Finos was released in 2011, the Italian regional edition caused a storm of interest due to the mystique of the brand. La Escepcion brand was renowned for its strength and power. Here's what made the Selectos Finos a sought-after release. It's a bloody good cigar. And it really is. I've smoked a few of them, as I said, and they're awesome. There are plenty of reviews on the internet that highly praise this full-bodied but balanced regional edition. So that's that. So of course then, wow. Yeah, everybody's going to want to hear that. Excuse me. So, immediately after discovering all of that, I started to do my search for this jar. And the first thing I realized right away was that there was no more, if this even ever happened for an individual. I think what happened is the vendors got this deal. They all bought it up. I never saw any opportunity whatsoever to buy 2 boxes and get the jar for an extra 100, not on the web at least. You know, so, and the other thing is, so I start searching for it, and every site I go to, the price ends up getting higher and higher, and it's just ridiculous. A lot of people, a lot of vendors took advantage of the rarity of this jar and the fact that they probably already had a lot of Selectos Finos in stock. Who knows what deals, who made what deals with who, but vendors ended up with all of these things and started charging outrageous prices, you know, which is not right. In fact, there are quite a few vendors being scrutinized right now by Habanos SA themselves for selling cigars at way over market value, which is illegal when it comes to Habanos standards. Licenses can be revoked, businesses shut down because of these practices. So we'll see who gets in trouble and who doesn't, but it's I think it's a really, you know what, you have a business. This is what the funny thing too, it's like when I used to work at the cigar shop. In domestic sense, one of the most sought after cigars is Opus X, Fuente Opus X, Arturo Fuente's Opus X. Comes out once or twice a year. It's very limited. You can't really order them. You are basically given a certain amount depending on how much business you do with Fuente, and they're bought up right away. They're not cheap cigars by any means, but long story short, it's a cigar that a lot of stores would take advantage of the fact that they know they're not going to get more. They have plenty of time before the next batch, so they can sell them slowly, and they mark up the value. They take a $20 cigar and it costs $40. They take a $30 cigar and make it cost $50, $60. And that's just bullshit, man. You know, you own a business, you know, stick by certain standards, make your money where you can, but don't gouge people. You know, gouging has just always been a really scumbag. You know, next to counterfeiting, that's probably the second, you know, it's like a step before that, like gouging people. It's disgusting. It really is. But rare is rare, and if everybody's gouging and there's no other way to get the fucking thing, then collectors are going to do what they have to do, and that is that's the state of things. That's the principle they play off of. So, whatever. That's that. But you know, the first site. Anyway, moving along. The first site I found one of these available on, I'm going to show you right now.